Hi, I'm Aaron Collins, and this is my co-host, Elise Wells, and you are watching Paranormal Crossings. We have an exciting show tonight. We've got a great group who's very unique, which we'll have them talk about here in just a bit. They are out of Oregon and Washington, I believe, and so they're a local group for us. So what about you? What's happening? What's going on with you?
Nothing.
Same thing that we just talked about a minute ago? Which was
I was getting married, and you already got married.
Yes.
And
Yes. So moving along. But you know, let's talk about what we have planned for next month, the weekend of July 18th, 19th, and 20th, the mountain trip.
Oh yeah.
So
that's gonna be super fun.
Oh, I'm pumped about that.
When are we going to Shanghai?
You know, it's in the works. I talked to
Okay.
Michael Jones, and we're in the talking part of those
I want to
plans,
go get in
so
the tunnels.
I do too. It's going to be exciting.
I want you to see the wolf.
I want to see the wolf.
I know you do.
Yeah.
We're gonna have the camera going.
Well, you know, and the cool thing is they have that new area that's open now to the public. So we're going to investigate that very brand new area.
That's going to be lots of
hardly anybody's ever seen. So.
Well, he is an expert guide.
Yes.
So.
Historian. I mean, the guy is just amazing wealth of knowledge. So.
And then you'll be doing the tours, right?
Yes. Yeah, of course. But you know, and then we have with the mountain tour, we have a tavern that we're not going to disclose now, but there's a tavern that we're doing the investigation for the first night. Second night, we have a similar situation, and possibly a place involving an Indian burial ground.
Well, and do you remember what's in the backyard?
What's in the backyard?
Sasquatch.
Oh my gosh, I forgot. That's a whole nother show.
Oh my gosh, that would be so cool to validate with the cameras.
Oh yeah.
The knocking.
But you know what we could do
It's random knocking.
But you know what? So your fiance is what, 6'5", 6'6"? Mm-hmm. Have him dress in a suit and be out there knocking wood on the.
Come on, that's all those hoax. They'll burn that out right on TV. They'll be like, oh, look,
you could fly by on your broom. Oh wait, no, sorry. Anyways.
It's your broom.
It's my broom. Okay. So, well, let's get started with our group. We have 6 guests tonight.
I know.
And,
I feel so special.
Yes. So let me start with introducing Seth Michaels. Correct?
Hello.
How you doing?
Great. Thank you very much for asking us to be on.
Thank you for being here. I'm very excited to have you guys on. We both are.
Yeah.
And so tell us a little bit about how you founded the group.
Actually, it was, if I remember correctly, Jill and I had just gotten through some spiritual intensity at her house. She was experiencing things before I moved in, and we worked, and I worked a while on it. And then she said, "Now that everything's calmed down, let's start a team." I'm like, "Hell no!"
Well, that sounds familiar.
Sounds very familiar. Yeah.
But then I work with my guides pretty closely, and they were saying they were kind of showing me the past and how it led up, and like, this was perfect. This had to be, it was meant to be kind of thing. So I went with it, and with her support too, I just asked people that I felt was right for it, and a couple aren't with us anymore, but it was like, how journeys go, and then it's
yes,
time
we know
for
all too well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So.
And how long have you had the group?
We're going on our 3rd year in August.
Wow, congratulations.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
And we're all, pretty much everybody's been here for that long. Tina, I think, was the youngest, aren't you?
I've only been here a little over a year.
Still, that's quite a long time too.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
And so over the last, well, let's just say over the last year, how many investigations do you do together as a team?
I think we did about 45.
Wow.
What do you think, Kristen? Do you think that's...
It was somewhere right in that range. We're on case number 8 for this year, and last year I think we had 30 something. So
Wow, you guys are busy.
we're very busy.
Oh, very.
This year's been a lot slower, and that's good. So I'm hoping that maybe our guides are giving us a little break and letting us, because as you know, it's a lot of work when you get into that evidence
is.
review. It's very time consuming.
The fun part's always the investigation.
Right.
But then you get into the review of the of the audio and the video, and it's just painstakingly long
It
and
is.
tedious. And so, but it's great though. And so, and you're Kristen Gray, correct? And you're the case manager?
I'm case manager and director of investigations.
Okay.
I kind of came onto the team. I was actually with another team. That wasn't really a good fit for me. They were basically a scientific team, And when I met White, they had actually came on a tour that I do tours at Kenton Station once a month in North Portland. And they had actually they all came on a tour, and we actually helped a lady, they did help the lady that was there cross that night.
Wow.
And some people, I was on it, like I said, a different team. They were really upset by this fact that they didn't have permission to cross the spirit over. You know, so I was like, wait a minute, what? You know, and their analogy was, you know, it'd be like someone coming into your house and letting your pet go. And I was like, what? You know, yeah. So it was, I knew right then and there that that was not where I needed to be, and this was where I needed to be. Unfortunately, they didn't have an investigation side set up yet. That they knew that that's what they wanted to have, but they just didn't have the tools yet to. That part of the team just wasn't there yet. And so Seth asked me, you know, hey, can you come on and we'll get this built up, and you know, we'll do it, we'll rock it out, and we'll do both the resolutions, we'll do the investigations, and it felt like a good fit. It just didn't feel right not being able to assist the spirits if that's what we could do. It didn't feel right to go into someone's home and say, yes, your home is haunted, see you later.
Exactly.
Although, you know, you have to decipher between the wanting to keep that spirit. There are spirits that people want to hold on to.
Exactly.
And I've had experiences where they said, well, we've got one really bad one in here, but we want to keep the other ones. And it's like, well,
that's that kind of
you
how it
can
works.
stay, you go.
right.
We
But-
explain it's pretty much up to the spirit.
Exactly, you know, but there are some that don't want to leave, and there are some that have
Yeah.
purpose for being there. So.
We work with free will with the spirits. We don't go in and force out. We work with the you know, because we've ran into that too, and a lot of our clients have been, you know, I'm fine with what's here. I just want to know what's here.
Yeah, just tell me what's here. You know, male, female, validate what I'm feeling.
Sometimes that just gives them that ease, that comfort of just knowing what's
How do
there.
I deal with it? What happens if it gets angry? Just make sure you put milk out every single night, just as a token gift.
That's right.
Yeah.
And you said you were giving tours where?
I do tours it's called Kenton Station. It's in North Portland. It's by where the big Paul Bunyan is. They do tours.
Really? Okay.
It was an old, it was built in 1909. We used to have the illegal underground boxing there, speakeasy, lots of spirit activity there.
We got to talk after the show.
Okay, we'll
All
talk
right.
after the show.
Yeah. And so your background is basically case managing, that kind of stuff. That's what you were doing before with the other group
I was
as
an
well?
investigator before.
Okay. Uh-huh.
I was pretty new to all this. My experience was, when I was a little kid, my aunt had a house that was haunted.
Oh.
And I had experiences there, and none of the adults believed us. So it was kind of like when I was older, I was like, okay, I'm going to prove this to you. I'm not crazy. I'm going to prove that this is real. And, you know, my thought process has changed now that I don't need to prove it.
Right.
It's more of a helping thing now. I think I've proven as much as I can prove, and people are going to believe or not believe.
That is an absolute pivotal moment right there, because I know that every single one of us have gone through that. You know, that explaining, that justifying, that how do you know? What do you know? And it's like I don't necessarily know what I know. I don't know how I know. You know, there's no rhyme or reason or religion. There's nothing you can. What was it I said on Facebook one time? I said it would be easy if I could say that I believed in a certain type of religion and that I was prophecy. Mm-hmm. We were talking about prophecy, and if you could say, you know, you were a prophet from God, that God had you doing all this stuff, and you could say you were in this thing, or somebody who's in the ministry. You know, he can claim prophecy because of the church, and he has that to back him up. You say the word psychic or intuitive, people run to the other side of the room and say, you know, but when you look at the definition of what an intuitive is or what prophecy is, they run along the same lines. The fact is what is truth and what is not truth. So who is truthful and who is not truthful? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Because we know that there's fake psychics and intuitives out there.
Right.
But those who have the fruition make it happen, right? Right.
And so, Jill, you helped found the group, and so tell me a little bit about yourself.
I lived in a funeral home when I was little, so I always was into ghosts, aliens, UFOs, all that kind of stuff since a young age, and always had an interest in the paranormal. And then we met on the internet. And
Tell them who your celebrity crush is.
John Edward.
Really?
Yeah.
He's married, so I'm second best.
He's in the bucket list.
So yeah, then I had some problems in my house. My daughters had some friends that came over and played with a Ouija board and candles, and I didn't know about it. And then I met him, and he just started saying there's things in your house, and it all made sense because everybody in the house was going through really hard, negative time, and he started seeing things, and then ended up moving out here, and it took a few months to clear it out, and we just decided we wanted to help other people. So I didn't want to live like that, like being scared, like being in a big house alone. And
Yeah.
so yeah, that made us start the team. And
You know, I have to say, I love what you just said. You wanted to help other people. You've been through it yourself. You've been scared. You had kids that were scared. And I think that's what drives a lot of us is, sure, we have curiosity as investigators. And, you know, we want to go in and we want to treat every location and the people associated with the location, including spirits, with the utmost respect. We're not there to taunt or yell at or drive out force, you know, with massive force, like other people I've seen do. And we just treat, you know, with kid gloves. You
Well,
know?
and Aaron knows I am a huge advocate on the children part.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I have worked with my own children, explaining to them, trying to give them understanding.
My own
I've
son.
worked with his
Yeah.
son who has an intuitive ability, and giving them explanation not to be afraid and what they might see and how they can learn how to be in control of that and not let that control them. And so that is one of my biggest advocate things for children.
And I love that. We talked about the Chip Coffee show that he used to have.
Psychic Kids.
Yes, loved that show. I loved how he took the time to work with these kids because, you know, a lot of people, adults, you know, we're so closed-minded a lot of times.
I never told
And-
you the first time that I watched the first episode of that it came out that I just bawled.
Yeah, you did.
I bawled like a baby. I was like,
Where were you for me?
right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
And so now you're an intuitive?
sensitive. Like
Sensitive.
Kristen and I are both pretty sensitive. We're not really psychic, but
Okay.
I think everybody has.
Everybody's
Everybody's
Everyone
psychic.
has something.
you just
So,
gotta
yeah,
polish.
It's just
You
kind
just
of
gotta polish the
practicing.
ball.
Yeah.
She's telling me that all the
And
time.
everybody that didn't consider themselves mediums have grown just tremendous lengths
There's
and
such an
evolving.
acceptance of it in the world now.
Yep.
That's the other part that makes it so helpful is
True.
that we're not so. Everybody's energy is a little more open to it.
Yeah, that's true. Actually, when you're talking about kids, I get a lot of kids in my, because I do a private reading practice, and the parents will bring them in. And I remember one took me aside and said, I want to know if he's really seeing what he's saying he is seeing.
Right.
So I just
Right.
said everything that I saw, and it was exactly what he explained to his mom. So that
And he
really
thought-
helped her
Oh,
feel
yeah.
better.
Thank you.
A lot of validation.
Yeah.
You know, and now he could go home and he could say
Those
to
are
his
big
mom,
breakthroughs, yeah.
Yeah, it's not the boogeyman in the closet. It's really the boogeyman.
I think in about 20 years, we're going to see this amazing thing happening because all these children that are now being embraced with their abilities, whereas when we were kids, we were told it's not real.
Yeah.
It's, you know, we
Stop it.
suppressed them all.
Stop it. Calm down.
So we have this whole group of that are children right now, all the way up. Well, I should say, you know, it's starting like at teenagers now, that are becoming adults that are amazingly psychic
How
and
horrible
open.
is it to know you're going to get in trouble before you get in trouble?
Yeah.
I mean, I already knew it was coming, and I couldn't run away from it because I couldn't change what I had just done that I was going to get in trouble for. And I knew I was too loud, or I knew my energy came in and I disrupted a room, or I embarrassed my parents, and then I couldn't pull it back. I couldn't pull it back, and it was so frustrating. I mean, I'd just go sit and cry.
Well, and I do want to get to, I have some personal questions for everybody for your growing up, what it was like for you. But before that, let's introduce the other guests that we still have. So Tina, you are a medium,
I'm a psychic medium.
psychic medium, okay.
And I work with the investigative side of it, and I do some resolves.
Okay. And you've been with the group for,
A little over a year.
okay. And how did
the
you,
baby, remember?
I'm the newbie.
the newbie, that's right. So how did you get involved with the group?
Somehow I met Seth on Facebook. I don't know, we were just like drawn together, and we met up and had coffee, and that was it.
Awesome. And so when you go into an investigation, is it, I mean, with so many mediums on the team and psychics, how does that work for you guys personally? I mean, is everybody...
I don't want to know anything when I go into an investigation. She'll know everything, and the other investigator and I would, we choose to not know and just experience and see what we get from right then. Occasionally, we'll do pre-impressions, but other than that, yeah.
Tell me, what's pre-impression?
We'll remote in, so we'll be like, okay, hey, we've got this house, in Wisconsin or wherever. What do you get from it? And so, we just kind of write in and tell them what we pick up. And
Okay. And so, when you all go, do you all go to do an investigation all at one time?
No.
So generally, how many people do you take with you out of the
it breaks
group?
up.
It's for investigations, it's, I'm an investigator, and one of the ladies that's not here tonight is our other investigator,
Okay.
and Tina's our investigative medium. So there's usually only 3 of us when we go on the investigations.
Oh, okay.
If we have a bigger place, then we can pull other people in, or we have other people that we network with that are on other teams that we can pull in. But usually it works out fine, just the 3 of us. Smaller numbers, less contamination. We
Right.
know each other's voices. We're pretty in tune with each other.
And when do the other team members come in?
Usually when we set up an investigation, I'll set up an investigation on a Saturday night, and then our ideal goal is to have the resolve the very next day, Sunday, if it's needed still. That way we're not leaving a long period of time.
Explain the resolve.
How about
What do you
can
mean?
Seth
Perfect.
explain the
Yeah.
resolve?
We have an
That's-
interview process too, if you
Yeah.
want to talk about that. Did you want to continue introducing first?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So everybody.
Well, let's hear the resolve real quick.
Oh, okay.
And then we'll move on to Aurora and Dina.
Because you're just chomping at the bit to know this person.
I
You gotta
you know,
know.
if you guys are
At
tuned
first
into my
I-
mind, it's going blah, blah,
At
blah, blah,
first
blah.
I called it a-
Minds wanna know. Please.
I didn't know what else to call it other than cleansing when we first started. The process of neutralizing the energy, but there was so much more that we were doing. So finally, we just came up with this term, spiritual resolve, or spiritual
I like that.
resolution,
Yeah.
because the outcome could be so many different avenues.
Right. You could be leaving it, but just leave it
Right.
with peace. You could be taking it or
Or it,
putting it in a box.
Don't do that.
Have you heard? What about the mirror box?
I have heard of the mirror box, but I haven't had.
But then we said, what do you do with the box? I
Yeah.
mean, where do you put it?
Well, this particular team took the box with the spirit inside
didn't they
and
blow
blew
it
it
up?
up. You know what I'm talking
saw
about.
that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Interesting.
Genius.
Sorry.
Yeah.
You'll
I'm
never
like,
see
what,
us
really?
try to blow up a spirit.
No. I don't know what good that would do. You know?
You wouldn't do
Yeah, I know.
anything.
That is definitely not a resolve.
Behind, like,
You
took
thought
the
I was in
city
the
out.
box.
But I like the resolve as opposed to cleansing. I don't know. I like that. That sounds better. You
Because
know?
we work with this.
aren't dirty.
Yeah.
Right,
Thank you.
exactly.
Yes. And and you are Aurora.
Aurora.
Okay. And tell us what you do with the team.
I'm a psychic medium as well.
Okay.
I'm also, I kind of guess I'm the team healer.
Okay.
So often when I'm there, there's a resolve. Sometimes I'll do the resolve with everybody, but other times the clients are very traumatized. They've been afraid, they've been thought they were crazy, all those things that people go through. So often what I will do is while they're doing the resolve and walking through and so forth, I will do a healing on the clients. I like to kind of take them back or put them in a different frame of mind, a different emotional state of being. So we work on that. That's one of the things that I like
That's what we do with the spirits as well.
Yes,
A
yes.
different energy flow.
Yeah, I knew I liked you guys from the get-go. And so, talk a little more about the healing portion of what you do. That's very interesting.
I call it resetting your home frequency. And what I mean by that is the general state of being that you carry yourself throughout the day, most of the time. That's what your home frequency is. So these clients, they've been afraid and traumatized and thought they're
Jumpy.
crazy. So they've shifted where they reside emotionally most of the time. So what I do is I go in and I shift that into a higher vibrational frequency, like teaching them how to get into the feeling of peace, the feeling of love, and those kind of things. So that's what I work with them. And I bring it into them with a specific technique so that when we leave, they'll remember what that feels like and they can get back to it.
Right. I love that.
Yeah.
It's it's like one-stop shopping. I mean, and I don't mean that disrespectful in any way.
No, I always call it that.
But yeah, I mean that's amazing. I mean, I don't know of any other group, really, that has this many warriors. I mean, you guys are just amazing. This is awesome. I think it's cool.
And there's no
This is
egos
my
there.
warrior. This is my yeah. No, and not to put you down anyway, because you're awesome, as you know.
One's better than none.
That's right. That's right.
Did he say warrior or voyeur?
Oh, yeah.
Just want to be clear.
Warrior.
Well, that might, no, I'm just kidding.
Another show. Anyway,
That's a
Spiritual
totally
warrior.
another show.
yes. And so, Dina, tell us a little bit about yourself. What you do
Okay,
for the
I'm a
team.
medium, and I met that through a friend. I had no idea that was a medium, and he told me about it,
Wow.
and I was like, it sucked.
So, did you have experiences growing up?
I have abilities, like I can see spirits sometimes, I can hear them. It's just, sometimes it happens so fast, and I have to get overwhelmed.
Yeah.
So,
And so you didn't really have a name for what you were as far as medium until you met Seth.
I just thought that I was crazy.
Oh my
Because I
gosh.
was like picking up stuff,
Yeah.
and I just thought that I was the only one that had it. Until I met that, I was like thinking I'm not crazy, and it made me a believer.
That's awesome.
And she's amazing. She's an amazing.
Yeah,
And then how long have you been with the group?
I think 2 years.
2
Yeah.
years.
You're not the baby anymore.
Meet the baby.
She actually went under the title student medium for a while, just so because if you're considered that, the client most likely would talk to the other ones, and she was just kind of easing herself in. Well, it didn't take too long where we can just drop that title because
Yeah.
she just came right in, scooted right in like she belonged there.
Yeah, once you find an
That's awesome.
embrace and you find a comfort and you don't walk, I mean, you're gonna feel where, I always ask people, we start talking, we did that at a location with one of our guests, and I had to, we started talking, and he introduces me, of course, and I watch their facial expression and just see, and then he said, she could do a reading for you, or
Talk about our first guest.
one of our guests that we
our
had.
guests,
And I said, is that okay with you? And so I waited for her to give me permission because I don't know how you guys feel about it, but I think that, one of the nice parts about doing an investigation is that you do have permission. Somebody is wanting answers. They're asking for specific things. You want to hope that you answer all their questions and maybe not give them too much. I mean, like, I won't tell somebody if they're going to die. It goes against my code. I won't tell somebody if, I'll tell somebody if I think something's going to be happening, but I say it in such a way that it's like, next week when you're driving, I just want you to just look around and just pay attention. And if as long as they're listening to you, you can change, so maybe they can become more aware. They're sitting at the stop sign going, last week she told me I should be paying attention, and all of a sudden something happens, and it's like, oh, I just missed that, So we can tweak things a little bit. But I don't feel we necessarily have permission to come in and go, hey, your energy's all screwed up. I mean, for you mostly too, I have an energy thing. And it's like, I don't want to touch anybody who doesn't want to receive my energy. Because if I don't, it's like touching a cactus. You've got that, just got that. Or somebody who's like, go ahead and tell me, and they're a total skeptic. And they're throwing up every single barrier and they're hiding behind.
Read me.
Yeah. Exactly.
Those are so hard.
Yeah. So I'm sorry.
Oh, if
not
they
going
do
to
that,
try.
then I go, and I end up scaring the crap out of them, and then I say, well, don't test me like that. But energy is the same way too. So it's like, do you want to? I go, don't ask me anything you don't want to know. That's what I always say to them.
We did.
I was
Okay.
going to tell that to you too.
We did a show, and this person apparently had a lot of energy, and the next day, it affected you in such a bad way. Talk about that a little bit.
This particular guest that we had on the show, there's going to be no way to not talk about who.
I know.
The energy, was so demonic that I was literally sick. I went home and screamed at everybody and set myself outside of myself and said, "Why are you yelling at everybody?" And I was sick. I was like literally sick to my stomach, did not feel good, felt like I got ran over by a freight train. And I couldn't even watch the videos of the show without just getting angry.
Now, does that happen? Well, and it's a question for you too, but being a psychic medium, what is it like to be around somebody who has that much energy? Is it something like you see colors or glow around the person, or what is that like? I don't understand.
Well, it could be different depending on who you're
all of
talking
the
about.
above.
Okay, all the above.
Well, we've expanded that to E.
I don't see colors unless every once in a great while, and I usually don't see spirit. So, I mean, my daughter, though, on the other hand, my 19-year-old, she sees colors very vividly.
And what about you? What do you see?
It
Colors?
depends on what's needed. So my philosophy is, why limit myself? So I'm open to whatever is needed for the person. Then I'm open to receive it in whatever way I need to receive it. So sometimes it is colors, sometimes you see the spirit, sometimes you feel them. So I just don't limit it.
Okay. And Dina, how do you perceive energy from other people? Is it something you see, or is it a feeling?
I can feel it.
You can feel it?
Sometimes I can see emotions in my head. Mostly it's feelings, like emotions, and
I hear that.
it's really interesting.
Have you been in a situation where you've seen or felt something really evil or demonic?
Well, I don't do that kind of stuff because I don't let that bother me. Because if you feel it, it becomes stronger. So I'm just like, don't talk to me, just go away.
Just go away.
I would do with it. Just find a place to go.
Has that happened on investigations before? Where you walked into a place where you felt that?
I don't think I have.
No? That's good.
Still has very good.
Yeah. What about you, Tina?
I haven't felt any. I actually have to go in and kind of brace myself in a different way, because the way I connect, it's for the greatest and higher good. And if I do that, I don't get any of the bad things that come in. But I've gone in and I felt like heavy sadness, that kind of thing, but nothing demonic or
Okay.
not in any of the places we've gone, at least.
And have you gotten a call from somebody who says that things are being thrown around the house?
Oh, yeah.
Maybe poltergeist type activity?
Even sulfur
or-
smells.
Oh, yeah.
And sulfur
We've
smells?
had
Okay.
every call you can imagine.
Really?
So I'm usually, as case manager, I usually take the first calls in, and we decide at that time, I kind of make a decision at that time if we should go straight to resolve or if they want an investigation, because, if they've got little kids or they've got stuff going on that's dark, I don't want to say demonic, but, heavier, then really we don't need to do an investigation. Let's just get in there and, figure out what needs to go on here. Sometimes they'll insist on an investigation. They want it, they want the just to know the proof.
Yeah.
But a lot of times when they're already at that state, it's like, yeah, just get on in here. So we'll just go straight to resolve. And it's not like, oh, we need investigations. We just try to do what's best for the clients.
Right.
Some of the cases are a lot lighter, but we've had some of those heavy cases where I remember we had one case once, and as soon as I hit the driveway, I felt like I was going to vomit. It was just,
Wow.
It was that heavy of a, and that was the first time I'd ever experienced anything like that, and haven't experienced anything like that since. But it was just that feeling like this is not going to be
knows
good.
you're there.
This is not going to be
Oh,
a good
you think you're going to
situation.
come take me away, huh? We had actually on one of our radio shows a group from
Kentucky.
and they don't take on certain cases. Do you guys ever find yourself turning a case away?
We've turned a few away. So after Seth and I would talk about it, sometimes we'll get calls and they're kind of more looking for the TV experience where they want to have a party and have us there to investigate. We only allow the clients in the house because we give them a job watching the monitors. There's only the 3 of us, so we have them sit and watch the monitors when we do investigations, and they write down. Gives us points to go back to specifically check if they see something. But we've had those calls before. We've learned a lot over the years. Our rules have changed in this, and we've gone to cases before, and there's been additional people there, and it's like, we're not really a television show here. We're here to do a service. You know, we don't charge for what we do, so we're not really wanting to be, and it's awkward when we're somewhere too and we want to do an EVP session and you've got people listening.
Yes.
I feel awkward, like, okay, I sound crazy, I'm talking to the air, these people are just like eating popcorn and watching, you know, it's like, I'm not Ghost Adventures here, I'm here to do something. So, yeah, we've, and then some cases, we've just, after Seth has connected in a little bit, he thought that, you know what, maybe these people need some different kind of help than what we can provide them, meaning more, maybe there's more mental issues going on there than stuff actually happening there. So those are ones usually Seth will just talk directly to and try to get a good feel for them. And we'll just kind of not take them on as a team case, but maybe Seth will try to work with them and try to talk with them. He's very good about communicating with the clients and keeping in
Like
touch with
mom
them.
has a little bit of dementia, and she's seeing. Gosh, I keep seeing that stuff over in the
there
corner.
was this one lady, these aliens were everywhere, and they're like 4 inches tall, and what was it about her face? Her face was melting. They were melting her face.
Right.
And I saw what she was seeing through her vision, but I wasn't seeing it through the other realm cam.
Right.
So, okay, so I
So there's
had a feeling.
validation, so you have to validate her, but yet then it's how to explain to her that.
How did you handle that?
I can't remember. I usually work so closely with my guides and my higher self, where I'll just open up and let, you know, okay, I'm ready for whatever needs to come in that's going to help for everybody.
We've had clients call too that have openly admitted like they're on methamphetamine,
Yeah.
and it's like,
Oh my gosh.
well, yeah, you
We'll
might
be right
need
there.
some
Please
stuff.
make the trip stop.
This one kid wanted me to tell his mom that he wasn't crazy, that he was seeing this stuff. I said, I'm sorry, I'm not seeing what you're seeing. I'm the wrong one for you.
Right, yeah.
Wow. And who's in charge of equipment, and what type of equipment do you use?
We use all the basic, you know, the normal equipment, K2s, millimeters. We have a infrared DVR system. Recorders are our favorite piece of equipment, actually.
The digital recorders?
Yeah, those, I mean, we get pretty good EVPs. We've gotten some really good EVPs. That's most of our favorite equipment. It's like we always make sure we have our recorder, usually.
Once.
Basically, pretty much we use the Spirit Box. You know, we pretty much have every...
You enjoy using the Spirit Box?
It's hit and miss. I don't like to review it because
Yeah.
my brain starts to rattle. So we
Give
turn
us
it
a
on.
percentage.
We
What's
like,
the percentage?
we like to give about 10 minutes to see if they can manipulate. Because sometimes we'll go places and boom, right away it's just going. We've got a bag now that we put everything in. It's like a Faraday bag, and it kind of blocks the signal. So that's really been helping a lot with contamination. But we like to give it about 10 minutes to see if the spirits can figure out how to work it. And after that, if it doesn't start, we turn it off because it's just too hard on the brain.
Yeah.
But like I said, we've gotten some really good, you know, clear things over it. And some people, you know, say they're not work, you're just getting contamination.
Right.
We were at the Emmetinger house in Oregon City once, and we were doing this on the front porch.
I know this house very well, yeah.
Right. And so I asked if you know the house. I said, "Are you the sea captain?" And over the Spirit Box, we got, it was plain as day, it said, "No, I served with the captain." You know how hard that is to get a full sentence over the Spirit.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen. But
Right.
it was a very clear, full.
Wow.
And then we were talking with the little girl, and I'm sure you know the story about the ribbons.
Oh my gosh. You're going to give me goosebumps, seriously.
And I asked the little girl, and I said, "Well, what's your favorite color, sweetie?" And plain as day, pink. And that was the color ribbons that she hid all over the house, were the pink ribbons. So I went back later that night, and I tied a little pink ribbon.
Awesome.
And this was probably like 2 years ago, and it's still
Wow.
there, a little pink ribbon hidden or tied up in above the doorway for her.
Did you get a name?
They know her name. We didn't get a name over the box, no.
Okay. I have to tell you, I went, my ex-wife and I went to the Emmetinger house. This was in '95. And oh my gosh, the activity from this little girl in the house was unreal. And I was so fascinated by what was going on in the house and how it was affecting me and my ex-wife. She, from the minute we walked into the house until we left, her eyes were tearing the whole time, and she couldn't figure it out. And when we walked out, she said, "Look at me." And I looked at her and I said, "What?" She said, "I'm not tearing anymore." So we decided to go see a psychic, which was all brand new for me,
Right.
this whole experience. And what the psychics told us was, I'm fixated on this place, and there's a bond between me and this little girl because apparently I used to work at the house in another life as a like gardener and caretaker for the house. And what they told me, which is crazy, I used to own a landscaping business, and they said, I see you sitting on the front porch playing guitar. I've been playing guitar since I was 10.
Wow.
And so it just blew me away. And yeah, it's a very active place. Well, you know, and that's the house that they did the famous coin toss.
Right, for the
for
name.
Portland or Boston, yeah. So a lot of people don't know that about the local Oregon City history.
Right.
So.
Our friends run the tours out there, the
Oh,
walking
okay.
tours out there. Amazing if you haven't had a chance to go take them. I mean, the history that you can get on those, and they have three
yeah.
different ones.
In John McLaughlin House.
Yep.
That's another great house to go
That's
to.
another, everything out there, and everything in Oregon City is haunted.
Oh my gosh.
Just
Oh
count
yeah,
on
you just
it.
point, drive by and
That's
point.
where my childhood was.
Oh,
That's
yeah?
where I grew up. Yeah. So
Oh,
let's
wow.
talk about contaminants.
That's a big playground.
Oh, yeah, we had restaurants down on Main Street. And my brother and I used to go up the elevators and run back down the stairs and run across the street to the McLaughlin house and when it was there. And
Oh, wow.
yeah. So contaminants, how does each one of you deal with cleansing so you don't get sick?
I still have issues because I still forget about it, and I just think,
Residual.
okay, yeah. I have to like brush it off, and I go in and clear my chakras and
Yeah.
fill myself with white light and anything that I can.
It's hard. My cousin is, what is he? The Reiki master. Went and did school with it, and he was doing some work on me, and I said, I have to go to the bathroom, and he gave me a bathrobe to put on, and so I got off the chair, and previously he had said, you've got something just attached to your side, like it's like connected into you, and I'm thinking, oh. So I get off the table, I sit off the table, and I've got my feet on the thing, and I go to get up, and my legs completely collapsed. And I fell, totally scuffed up my knee, fell on the floor, and then I tried to get up again, and I fell again, and he comes in, and of course I've got half robe on, and I'm like, he goes, the negative comes out through your feet. So he goes,
That
I'm
makes
sorry,
sense.
I should have stayed in here with you, because it wasn't ready to want to leave. And I thought,
I've had that happen to me too.
I'm like, get this darn thing out of me, please. Somebody take it, take a hook, whatever.
And how do you guys handle this?
Want to go first?
Yeah.
I don't know quite how to say this. I don't believe in a lot of belief systems, so I make up my own mind. And what I have found that works for me is who I am is always who I am. I know who I am, where I'm going. I mean, I know what my core is, and that doesn't change whether I do an investigation or a resolve. That's just how I always am. So I don't think in terms of like what you all are saying. So I never worry about it because I feel like I go in with an authority, a compassionate authority, and that's always worked for me. And I
like that.
just don't worry about it. But I think if you do worry about it, you should do all those things. I've been at it a long time, and I know where I am in a spiritual sense. So that's what I do.
And what about you, Jill?
I just felt pretty protected. We have these crystals that Laura made. We always wear.
I was gonna ask about those.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, she makes
everybody wear
beautiful
She makes
jewelry.
jewelry.
We're all wearing
Yeah, I just
I'll have to
felt
get your
pretty
number.
protected, yeah.
And
What
then,
about you?
yeah, what do you do?
It's always different. I usually try to go there with an open mind and just in a really good space. You know, with loving my body the best I can.
Love is
So,
powerful.
and then just kind of open to whatever happens. And I don't really have any worries. Or not really, but I just don't have any
So
worries.
it sounds like you're just all very positive.
You
Yeah,
have
and
to
sure
be.
of yourself.
I had to work really hard for that. I
yeah,
wasn't
I'm
in
sure.
the beginning parts of my life.
The one thing about this team also is if by chance something ever did happen to one of us, we
We'd
have
still
each
be on the
other.
team.
We have each other to call, you know. I've had somebody follow me home from one of my tours before, and I'm on texting Seth at 2 a.m.
Oh
you know, so we have that connection with
A
each
real
other.
person,
that,
you mean?
No. Well,
We
yeah,
forget to
but
say that. We forget to say
I've had a
spirit.
spirit
I
follow
knew
me
who she was
home
talking
from a
about.
location before, but we have each other's
What, a
backs
person
too.
and vessel.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I like that.
That's what I always call them. In a lot of the field that I do, we talk about vessel. It's their vessel. Once you leave your vessel, you're in a totally different vessel. So.
And do you have to cleanse yourself before going into a location?
I have a couple times.
Have you?
Like I put myself in a place where I can find, like, I can call myself first. Like being aware of the surroundings.
Are you calm by nature?
Yeah.
Are you?
Sometimes.
Everybody here kind of seems pretty much calm by nature.
So my cousin said to me that you have to imagine there's an energy field that goes on the outside of you, and there's an energy field that's closer to your body. So you imagine that the energy field that's on the outside of you is squeezing in and coming into your other one, so you leave no room for that gray matter. So you have to lay there and you just picture it just coming in and just like sucking out the ooze. So there's no room. There's no room for that extra energy because we leave ourselves open. Like when we go in and do readings, we open ourselves up so we can gather information. Well, then if we forget to leave ourselves, if we've left ourselves open, then we're just kind of walking around a little, things are pinging in and pinging out. So when we close that, there's lots of techniques, meditation, all kinds of stuff. But
Another thing that all of us do on this team is we work with our spirit guides.
Yeah.
So we ask for protection. Even though I've never met mine yet, I'm still working on it. But I still talk to her,
does anyone have animal spirit guides?
Yes.
You do.
Yes. I think we all remember. I was going through everybody. I can't remember
Yeah.
what.
But whether or not you can connect with them or not, you
Right.
connect with yours highly.
Yes.
You utilize yours highly.
Absolutely.
I think all of our actual mediums are connected in with their spirit guides and spirit animals. Us newbies are working on it,
We even have, I think, at least 2, but for sure 1 spirit guide for the team. Because I've noticed he goes.
He bounces
the
around.
The various people, whoever's on the case. Or,
Sure. Someone of high interest.
So we have a series of pictures. They're not in any particular order, so
Okay.
they're the pictures that you sent me. So if we could get those pictures ready, and we will put those on the screen, and we'll have you describe what's going on in that picture and,
Okay.
and kind of where you guys were at
Okay.
with that picture.
We'll
Yeah,
have
and-
to get our memories.
Yes.
Is
All
this
right.
peekaboo?
This was at a location, actually, this is at
I guess.
this is at a location that's around here. This was a case we had just 2 cases ago. So actually what's happening in this picture right now, this is Tracy. She's our other investigator that's not here right now. She was sensing a little girl standing next to her. Actually, this little girl was connected to her all night. And Tina was getting her impression, so you see her jotting down everything she's getting. So she's not really telling us right now everything. She's writing it down so she has it. When we're done with the case, we'll send everything to the client. What the mediums write up a report. We write up a report. So every step of the way, they're getting what everybody's getting. So they're getting what the mediums are picking up, what we're doing. Everything is in a typed up print format. So Tina was actually connecting right at this time with the little girl as well. We were trying to figure out actually if she was a little girl or a little boy. Turns out she was a little girl. We were actually called into this case because there was a suicide that was in this house. And that's who that they actually thought was there. And he ended up not being the primary one there. It ended up being a family member that was there. And so when they went in the next day for the resolve, they were really able to connect with the family member that was there. And one of our other mediums that's not here right now, Kim, she did this fantastic drawing. It's on our website. And when she got there, they were able to compare. She showed the client, and they're like,
What?
"That's my family member."
See, I love that. Oh
It
my
was,
God.
yeah, it was like perfect. Yeah.
Well, let's go to the next one. I know we have about 8 more pictures to go and very little time.
This
so.
is Kim. This is actually the
Okay.
medium I was just speaking with. This was a resolve we were called into. We just went straight to resolve. They were having a lot of traumatic events. They're physical events, being physically attacked and everything.
Really?
At this point right here, there was a woman that was hiding in the closet. And it was an abusive situation. And the man and the woman were both still there. The man was trying to hold her there.
Still.
Still hold
Oh
her
my
there. He was
gosh.
still looking at her as property. So Kim was working
Wow.
with her of letting that go and being able to cross over. And her and Seth eventually did get this lady to cross over
Wonderful.
and go.
Be
And the
free.
clients were said that it was amazing. The energy shifted in their house, and no problems at all now.
Good. Okay, let's go to the next one. And do you mainly do private residences?
Yes.
Okay.
This is a case that we were called in, and Seth knows this one. This is a friend, actually a high school friend of Jill's that we were called into. He was having experiences there. We had some really odd things happen that night. Coins were thrown across the room. We kept hearing like these tinging noises, and we'd go look, and there'd be a coin laying that we knew that there wasn't something there.
Wow.
Pictures. What we ended up with this case was there was a man there that had died on a motorcycle accident, and he couldn't let go because he was still looking for his daughter. He missed all those years.
And the client witnessed it.
Yeah, the
Really?
client had
That was
witnessed
his
it.
barber.
Witnessed
The motorcycle accident as a child.
Oh my
I mean,
gosh.
years back as
Yeah.
a young teen. And so this man was still somehow connected. He knew this man.
He recently had nightmares about it.
Right.
So that could
Gosh.
pull in energy.
Wow.
So once again, they were able to help him cross. They knew that he'd be able to, they told him basically, you know, you'll be able to find your daughter better if you cross over. You can come back here and visit, but
Wow.
you'll be able to find your daughter. You're not going to
Oh, I
find your
love
daughter
that.
here.
Okay, and they're going to go to the next one.
Oh, that's just us.
That's a great
That's
shot.
the
Look at
Oregon
that.
Ghost Conference. I just threw that in because that had almost all
We
of
are
us.
No, I
so
really
good
like that
looking.
picture. That's a great group picture.
Yeah, thank
Awesome.
We are extremely good looking.
You know, I must say, the only thing that would make it better is Elise and I. I mean,
Yeah,
you. Next year, Ghost Conference. be
yeah,
there.
next year.
all right. Well, let's go to the next
We,
picture. There
we
we
could
go.
Photoshop you in.
This is a picture up in Washington. We were taken out in the woods, way out in the woods. And this particular picture right here, Seth is doing an offering. He driving up the road, he even heard native chanting. There was a lot of native energy there. This was separate from what was going on in the house. So what Seth is doing there is we were doing a saging outside. He was doing an offering, tobacco offering
Oh, nice.
to ease the natives that were there on the land. There was a power struggle going there, of course, you know, with this is my land,
Right.
you know, you guys don't belong here. So we went outside first to settle the land before we could work inside.
Awesome. All right, let's go to the next one. And was this right next to a particular house you were going to, or
This was the same property of the house.
Okay, gotcha. So who's this?
This is Tracy. She's not
Tracy,
here.
okay.
This is actually inside the house of the picture that we were just that we just saw. She's in the bathroom, or this is the back bedroom. She's communicating. They're trying to communicate. Turns out this guy actually died in the house that was there. Seth was really able to connect with him. He got really good validations for the client was there. The guy was really heavy, negative energy, was into a lot of,
Was it a suicide?
was
or-
no, he just died. He was a heavy drinker. He was into pornography. I mean, it was just like a
right.
really heavy energy.
And is she using a K2 meter?
Yeah,
Is that
she's
what that
using a
is?
K2 there and a voice recorder. And we actually, on this case right here, had toys because in the boys' bedroom, we had set up two little trucks like this next to each other, and we had come back at the end of the night, and the trucks were completely apart, and there was no way they rolled or
Wow.
anything. So it was, and a lot of the activity happened. The man was scaring the little boy, so
Oh,
a
that's
lot of the
terrible.
activity happened in there. This is the same house that we just saw Kim in the picture. So this is Seth just clearing out the energy, saging. You see behind Seth is our little guidelines on the wall of the clients, their homework sheet. We like to
Oh, yeah.
we want to give clients power to empower themselves. We don't just want to come in and do the work for them.
Right.
We want to empower them to be able to do this stuff for themselves. So when we're
Tell them our
gone,
slogan.
The slogan?
guiding. Now I just went blank.
Oh, I'm
Thanks,
sorry.
You put me on the spot. Guiding spirits, empowering people.
There you go.
Guiding spirits and empowering people.
yeah, that's-
I like that.
So this right here is Jill and Seth. We're up in at Wellington, Washington. This was the place of one of the worst avalanches in U.S. history.
Wow.
We went up there. This was actually, we call some things fun trips. So this was actually what we considered a fun trip. We went up there and we're communicating with the spirits. Lot of energy up there, not all of it the best. We walked over by the Cascade Tunnel that was over there, and that was some pretty eerie energy over there.
Yeah, wild
Yeah.
EVPs too.
Yeah, we had some-
growling and
But you
Yeah.
had a cool jacket on. I gotta say, I like
Thanks.
the jacket.
Got a skull jacket on.
And look
you.
how well that Jill matches in that picture.
Yeah.
So this right here is this is actually Kenton Station. So this is
Oh, okay.
me just giving the tour of Kenton Station. I'm telling them about the history. We've had, like I said, lots of things that have happened down there, and I'll fill you in more of that later. And that's pretty much the gist of what's going on in there.
And we'll put the information on screen later that
Right.
shows where this is and how to get in contact with you.
This is Aurora. This was that one case where I was telling you about, where I actually was, from the time I hit the driveway, I felt
Yeah.
like I was going to be sick. This was one of our first cases that I ever worked on, and this was a really heavy case. We went back to the case 2 or 3 times. We went back, and we were kind of getting with the client that the male was telling us he wanted the energy out of there because we believe it was a female attachment. Well, it definitely was a female attachment. But we didn't, we felt like, we heard what he was saying, but we don't think he was feeling that way because we kept going out, and then we kept getting like, oh, can we reschedule this, and can we do this? And then we didn't hear from him for months, and it was like, oh, call us up, oh, it's getting bad again. It's like, well, we can't work like that. You know, you have to keep your things. So Seth ended up telling him, maybe you need to call a shaman because there was some native energy there, and maybe your local priest to come in. And like I said, this was a heavier case here than, probably one of the heaviest that we've had. And, but we just weren't feeling like they were
He was
working
kind
with
of calling
us.
stuff back.
Oh, was
Right.
it?
It's
Yeah,
like we would
calling
go in
you.
and do what we could do, but then things were getting called back in, and it was a weird situation.
Because they have to
Is
do
this the
some of
same
the work.
location, or is this a different one?
No, this is a different location. We're actually
Yep.
up in an attic right here. So in this case right here, there was primarily it was an old man that was do you remember which one this is? Our
not
friend that lives out on the farm now, but this was her house, the first one. So we're up there talking with the male that's there. He was looking for his wife. There was some other energy there, but he was pretty much the dominant one. There was another guy there that, this one was funny because he's like, I don't want to cross over. He did not want to see his family. So he's like, I'm not crossing over because I don't want to see them. And Seth's like, you don't have to see them. You know? It's like, you can do whatever you want. You don't have to, because that was his main thing holding
He's
him
like,
back.
let's make a deal.
He did not want to cross
All right.
because he did not want to see his father. There was some issues there, and
So you have different hair in this picture.
yeah.
Also done
I
by
didn't
Jill.
recognize you at first. I
from
don't
the
have my
Wild
glasses on.
This is a case we had out in Hubbard. This was also this year. And the main spirit there was an older lady. And Tina had picked up that she had fallen in the bathroom. The house was actually moved there. So she was attached to the house. But they had issues with other spirits walking through the house because where the house was placed was actually used to be a pathway. So right through the master bedroom was like a walkway. So Tina kept seeing like all these spirits walking through over and over and over through the master. But the main woman that was there was connected to the house, not the land. So she actually came. So she was confused, like, this is not where my house belongs. And then
Right.
these other spirits were telling Tina, this house doesn't belong here. So it was like, so Seth actually, I wasn't on that resolve. Seth was able to go the next day, and
For some reason, it's, that was the one with the attic.
Gosh, there's been
You
so
put
many.
him on the spot now.
okay. Well, they were able to help her cross the next day. I
For some
remember
reason,
reading the
it's just
report.
I'm drawing a blank.
Seth works so much on that other side that,
Right.
yeah, sometimes
When it channels through, you don't remember anything. That's
I'm
call
on
it psychic
investigations with
amnesia.
Tina, and by the end of the
You can't hold
investigation,
on
I'll
to
ask her
everything.
something about something she said earlier, and she's like, I don't know. I don't remember because she's channeling,
Yeah, we're
and it's
slippery
coming
slopes.
out.
Now, who was it that you said was drawing earlier, and then
That's Kim, and she's
Kim,
not here, and she's done that on a
Aurora
few
does
cases.
too.
I haven't
And you
seen
do
Aurora's
also?
work yet, so.
You also draw
You've drawn
during
things that you've
investigations.
seen.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. And so you do like sketches of the faces that you see, or
I haven't done really faces. It's been buildings.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
when
she's like
when we do our
specialized.
a lot of us will read
Pre-impressions.
pre-impressions.
Oh, like when you drew the hospital at the fort when we
Yes.
had a case that was
Yeah.
about 6 blocks away, and
Yeah.
she'd sent that, and it was like,
Yeah.
then she's like driving, and she's like, "There's that building," and it was the hospital at the, yeah, and she had no idea where we were going.
now do you guys have a favorite location to go to? Is it a private residence? Is it an old building?
Just
or,
to visit or the
or,
cases
for,
we
have
for
a
the
favorite
cases,
place.
I mean, yeah, for a favorite, maybe a favorite investigation that you like to do, if that makes any sense. I know some of you mentioned
I'm
you
gonna
like
field
working with
that to
kids.
them.
Like you would like to work with kids.
Oh yeah,
Right,
my
and so-
private yeah, when I
Okay.
do readings.
Okay.
I think for our purpose
anybody.
as a team, our private residences are are what we're most drawn to, because that's what we're doing, is we're helping. Like I said, the other places we go, the Klondike restaurant, the, you know,
St.
any of
Helens,
those out
yes.
there, those are what we, like I said before, we call those places where we're
See,
not
we love
really-
But I gotta tell
Edgefield,
you,
We
I
go to
don't.
Edgefield all the time.
Yes.
We love it over there. We
Do you?
meet people over
Oh,
there.
we'll even do Paranormal Crossings meetings there.
Except for
cool.
the only time we were sitting there in the restaurant and we were in the Black Rabbit bar, and Aaron looks at me and he goes,
Yeah.
"Do you see that over your? Do you feel that over your shoulder?" And I go, "Yeah, I feel something really heavy over my shoulder." And then he said, "My face morphed."
I
And-
said, no offense, but you look like a man. I
And
mean,
then-
she took on the form of a
And then I
male
just
figure.
pushed the energy off
Wow.
and just didn't want to have anything. I wasn't even paying attention. It was just kind of, but I started feeling really sick. So I told him, I said, so when we came back down after doing some investigating there, I said, "No, you sit in that spot."
Yeah.
And he goes, "There is something."
No, I could feel it.
He goes,
Oh, yeah.
"I don't feel very good."
Uh-oh.
And I was like,
So we're gonna, you do have, not to cut you off, we only got a couple of minutes left. So do each of you have a favorite type of investigation you'd like to go on? Or is it just, your purpose is to help people?
That's
and,
me.
And that's
Like,
what
I
I'm
don't see it
finding
as
collectively
fun.
from all of you.
It's just what I do.
Yeah.
It's just. I mean, I love
are
what
there
I do.
investigations that you get really excited about doing?
But, they're all the same for me. It's just new.
Seth more comes in on the resolve ends, not exactly the investigation
Yeah.
end.
And I don't know enough about the investigation to get excited about it. before I get there.
I just go.
I just go.
It just depends what activity happens, so.
Okay.
I like
And
big
sometimes the
buildings.
spirits call
Big
us.
buildings.
Right.
Big buildings.
Like the
big
Klondike
buildings.
was a blast. When we did the
Really?
Klondike, it was, because we
Yeah.
had so much stuff going on there.
Did you go in the private areas, the areas that aren't open to the public in the restaurant?
Well, when you get
Yes.
to actually investigate the Klondike, they give
Yeah.
you carte blanche. They give you the keys and they
And
say,
just
see you
go.
later.
Okay. I've actually
And
spoken to
I
her
was like,
before.
wow, okay. So
Yeah.
it was like, so we had every ounce of the place, the basement, the
where do you
upper
wanna go?
floors, everything.
I don't
that
know.
we
Where do you
had
want to go
a
for?
chance.
Yeah. Well,
I guess the Heathman was fun, actually.
the Heathman, downtown
Yeah.
Portland?
Yeah, we have a friend that works
was
there, so he let us
interesting.
walk through it.
Nice.
Has
That
any
was-
of you
I
done
guess
the
I gotta
Shanghai
say it.
tunnels?
Yes,
Yes. Yes.
Investigation or just the tours?
just tour.
Just tour?
See, we're talking fun. You got to
Yeah.
make it fun.
Oh, we're gonna make it fun.
You got to
Well, and
make
this
it
whole
fun.
mountain thing that we're doing in July, it's gonna be fun. We're even taking our director, Steve.
Yeah, Steve.
Yeah, and, and.
Steve's waving.
So it's gonna be fun slash, investigation slash show.
I think you
and-
got to keep it real. You got to keep
Yeah,
it fun.
absolutely.
You got to keep it open. You got to keep a lot of love. You can't.
We
you
make
can't
things
think,
fun, yeah.
You
Yeah.
can't think that you know everything, because the minute you know
Exactly.
everything, somebody takes a turn on you. And
And
it is about keeping it open.
And if you look at the context with what we're dealing with, you
Yeah.
have to keep it lighthearted as much as you can,
Yeah.
because it's death.
Well, I don't mean to sound like a fuddy-duddy. I mean, it's fun in some respects, but I just can't think of like locations. I mean, I can't wait to go.
Right.
Right.
Well, we just have a couple of minutes left, so I just want to take the opportunity to thank each and every one of you
Yes,
for
thank
being
you
on the
guys.
show today. And I am more impressed now with you guys than I was doing all the research before you got here.
You're going to go find a location
And
just
so
to call them up
I'm
and
gonna
have them
go-
come at us.
I need help out here.
But I love how you tackle it. You're not intrusive
Aaron?
and
Aaron,
invasive.
is this you?
And, yeah, and I love the whole resolve. I'm just so fixated on we're gonna have to start saying resolve as opposed to.
We have to ask permission
We're gonna
if
have
we
to.
use it
Can we
to-
adopt that term?
Yeah, we didn't copyright that one.
Okay, great.
We're all good. No, in
so
fact, I
We'll
love that.
start a
too.
fad. We'll start a
Perfect.
fad.
And you know what? What I'd like to do is maybe have you guys back again sometime.
Be
and,
great.
Maybe bring the other members as well. I don't want to omit anyone. And so
Maybe by then I can get footage for you.
that would be great. We would love to do that. And we're also going to give the audience a chance to see how to contact you guys. And we'll put that on the screen. But your website is
whitelightInsight.com.
Whitelightparanormalinsight.com.
I almost forgot it.
Right?
I'm thinking of our email address because it's not out of there.
And you also have a Facebook page.
Yeah, our Facebook page
so-
is our more active page.
Okay.
You
Kristen
can
So we
does
just
every
look
day.
up White Light Paranormal Insight
Insight on Facebook, and
Okay.
it's like I said, that's our more active page.
Which reminds
and
me, you still need to answer my friend request, by the way.
I do, but you know what? This goes to that. I
Uh-huh.
always meet people before I accept their friend request
okay.
because I do
Well,
that
I'm not
whole
gonna
energy
ask you
thing.
now if
So
you're
that whole
gonna-
energy thing. So if I don't accept accept
Okay.
you. Now you'll know.
It took about 6 months for
It
her
did.
to
It
accept
took
mine.
me months to accept it. I have to
Accept
meet
the
people
Roras
and
right
feel
away.
their energy.
All right. Well, I would love to have you again. And,
thank you.
I definitely would love to. Maybe even we can work together at some
That'd be
point.
fun.
We
out
work
in
with
the
other
field.
teams.
Totally.
That would be
Yep.
great. And it's about paranormal unity.
Yep.
You know, there's so much. I'm sorry, but right now I've been witnessing a lot of cyber paranormal bullying.
Territory.
And I don't
This
even want
is
to
my
talk about
spot,
names
yeah.
or anything, but
Yeah.
it's to the point. It's just ridiculous.
We
Let's
stay
get back
completely
to-
out of that.
Yes, thank you. You're such a good group of people, and we appreciate it. So thank you for being here
you.
for Paranormal Crossings, and we will see you next time.
Good night.
Good night. Have a good day.